Alright, how is it going, people, and welcome back to another Discord bot tutorial video. And in this video we are going to be going through moderation. So you're probably wondering right now, how do I program security related commands like banning, timeout, kicking people from a server, pretty much all that kind of stuff. It's very simple, honestly, but it does take a bit to try and work out how the ban command works, how to kick people effectively. And we're going to do it in slash commands because I feel like making these kind of moderation commands as slash commands is more effective. Honestly, it's more easier to use. You get more user interactivity with it. You know, like for example, having the Discord user parameter so that you can select users in the slash command rather than just typing in their username letter by letter. So it's better to do it in slash commands. So yeah, let's get started with moderation commands. Just a small announcement just before we get started on the moderation commands. So what I've done here is I've made a C# Discord bot template GitHub repo so that people can clone it and pretty much get started on making a Discord bot. It will just provide that sort of starter pack, if you know what I mean. So like this repo contains the full working fundamentals of the bot. So as you can see in the bot CS file, it pretty much contains everything that you need to get started. I've already created a basic command class for you lot. So this just contains a test command. It pretty much contains everything that you need to get started, and the readme should tell you how to get this set up. So if you go to using this repo and then click on this link, there'll be a whole article telling you how to set up this repo and get it working on your own machine. So for people who are having issues by typing in the code and they're receiving errors for some reason, even though you typed it in exactly the same as mine, try and use this repo and it should work exactly the same as I've been doing in all these videos. So all you got to do is click on use this template, create a new repo, and then you give it a name, and then you should be able to clone it in VS 2022 and it should work that way. So that's just a small announcement I had to make. I made this in the Discord server as well to let people know. So yeah, if you're still having trouble by getting your own Discord bot set up after part 1, then definitely have a go at cloning this repo and pretty much setting it up and trying it out for yourself. So back to the moderation commands. Alright, so first of all, we're going to obviously create a new class for our new set of commands. So, you know, like we're obviously not going to do it in the font SLCS because that's only for fun commands. So let's add a new class and call it moderation commands. So moderation, and then we'll just call it SL, you know, like just to go with our current naming standard. And then we have a simple class, so obviously make it public. And then we obviously have to inherit from the application command module. So application command module, cool. So we're all set to create slash command in this class now. So I'm going to go through like just a few examples. You know, I will go through the main ones like banning users, kicking. But if you want specific ones, then that's up to you to figure out. I'm just going to give you some basic examples of how to do moderation within code. So it should be easier from then on. So let's create our first ban command in this bot. So obviously we have to start first by declaring the command. So let's make one. So we say slash command, and obviously we have to give it our name and the description. So we're going to say ban, and the description is obviously bans a user from the server. Simple as that. And then obviously we have to make a method for it. So public async and then task. We'll just call it ban, and then we'll say our interaction context. So interaction context and then CTX. So we're all set. This command is now ready. Okay, so there are a few things that we need to obviously ban a user. So we need, first of all, is the actual user to ban. And then the second one is sort of optional, but it's the reason to ban. Because if you ban someone, then you can provide a reason for it. So if I, you know, press ban test bot, I pretty much have an option to provide a reason for the ban, and I can type in, you know, like blah blah blah. So this is optional, but you can do it if you want. So let's provide those two parameters. So we say option, like so, and then this is going to be the user that we're trying to ban, right? So we say user. And then the description is the user you want to ban, or like something along those lines. And then obviously this is going to be a Discord user parameter. So we say Discord user, and then we say user. So this parameter will allow us to pretty much have a list of users, and it allows us to easily search and pick a user that we want to ban. So that's pretty straightforward. So next of all, we'll do the reason, and this is where I can get you into optional parameters. So these are parameters that you don't have to actually fill out in / commands, and it will just ignore it. So let me show you how to make an optional parameter. So you say option, and then you provide your stuff. So we say reason, and then it basically says, I don't know, reason for ban, and then we say string reason. And if we set this to null, then this will actually make this this parameter a optional parameter, meaning that we don't have to actually fill it out for this command to execute. So so far where we have our basic / commands, for example our poll, all of these parameters have to be filled out for it to work. If I press enter, then it says I need to actually fill these out. So if we actually set it to null, then that means it's an optional parameter, meaning that we don't actually have to fill it out. And if we just press enter, it will still execute as usual. So like we pretty much got that set up. So next of all, we need to actually ban the user in this command, right? So I'm going to get you introduced into deferring messages in this command. So like basically deferring a message allows you to actually pretty much create your response later on. So like, you know how you can do await and then ctx.respond, create response async. Well, like so far I've pretty much taught you that you actually have to do this before you actually do anything in code, because if you don't do this, then it will send that error message saying the interaction response failed or something along those lines. So you can actually do ctx and then defer async. So this will actually sort of, like let's read the description. It says creates a deferred response to this interaction. So basically what this is saying is that it will just create a temporary sort of empty message which we can edit later on. So it will send sort of like a black message as a response, so that the command doesn't fail. And when we get around to sending a message or like an embed as our response, then we can edit it later on and display it. The next thing we need to do is pretty much check for the permissions, right? Because you don't want any old user to execute this command. Like it'll be mayhem if you pretty much allow anyone to use this ban command. So like you only want administrators to use this command, right? It makes sense. So let's do a simple if statement. So what we do is say if the ctx.member, so we're looking for the member here, not the user, because the difference between ctx.user and ctx.member is that member is actually the user within the guild, right? So we're trying to check for permissions within the server that they're in. So that's why we need ctx.member. And what we want to check it for is their permissions. So we want to see if they have the admin permissions, right? So we check for their permissions. So what we do is say ctx.member.permissions, and we say has permission. So we want to check for a specific permission. Well, we want the admin, right? So we say permissions dot, and then we say administrator, like so. So basically we're basically saying here, if the member that called this command has admin permissions, then only execute whatever's in this if statement. So this prevents any old user from executing this ban command, which could do more damage than good. Like you don't want any user to execute this ban command and start banning everyone in the server. You only want admins to use this, right? So once that's done, we can start banning the user. So like we'll get to the embed later on, but let's actually ban the user from this server. So what we do is simply say await, and then we say ctx.guild, and then we say ban member async. So this method right here pretty much allows us to ban a member from the specified guild. So the ctx.guild will pretty much get the server that the user is in, and then the ban member async will pretty much ban the user that we provide. So okay, let's pass in our user. So this is the user that we try to ban, right? So we don't want to do ctx.user because that will ban yourself. So make sure you do the user that you passed in as a parameter here, because you don't want to ban yourself from the server. That would be quite stupid, right? So we provide our user that we try to ban. So user, And then we've got some optional parameters here. So we've got delete message days and then the string reason. So we're trying to pass in the reason as well, right? So like the delete message days parameter, like if you put in 1 day, then it will delete all the messages up to 1 day ago. So like if you want to do that, then fine, do it. But I'm just going to put 0 because I don't want to delete any of their messages. And then the reason will provide as the reason right here. So okay, we've done that. But what's this? It says cannot convert from Discord user to Discord member. So it wants a Discord member specifically because, like I said, the Discord user is very different to a Discord member. So once again, you know, like as I've explained, a Discord member is pretty much a Discord user within a server, and that's what we're trying to ban, right? Because like a Discord user is pretty much the global sort of like characteristics of a user. Like we only want the member within the server. So what we can do before this ban async line is we actually convert this user parameter into a Discord member. So what we say is var member. So let's just create a random member variable. And what we say is user. So we'll set that to user and we'll cast it as a Discord member. So in brackets, we'll say Discord member, like so. So we've casted our user as a Discord member. And then we can pass in our member that we're trying to ban. And that works. So that's all cool. We banned the user from the guild. So now we just need to send an embed message saying that you banned this user and the reason, right? So, okay, let's provide the title as banned user. And then we'll provide the user that is banned. So we say member.username. Because we're trying to get the member that's banned, right? So we want to use this member variable that we just casted as a Discord member right here. So we get the member.username, that's cool, and then we set our description, and then we say, I don't know, the reason is the reason, so reason, and then we'll set the color as, I don't know, Discord color red, I guess, you know, because it's a ban. So we'll say Discord color and then red. Cool. So that's all set up. So now I can show you how to edit the response, because so far we've pretty much deferred the response so that we can edit it later. So this means we don't have to do create a response async. We can simply edit the response because one's already been created for us. This defer async, like I've been saying all this time, is basically a temporary message. It's empty, but we can edit it later on. Under here is say await, and then we say CTX, and then we say edit response async. We want to edit the response that has currently been deferred. This parameter, it doesn't take an interaction response builder, because if you think about it, one's already been created for us. So as you can see, the parameters, it wants a webhook builder. So let's make a Discord webhook builder. It's no different to a interaction response builder. It's no different to a message builder. It's the same thing. So what we do is say new Discord webhook builder, and then let's add the embed that we just created right here. So we want the ban message, and then we end it with a colon right there. So that's pretty much the ban command. You know, it's quite simple. Let's also program the else. So what if the user who calls this command isn't an admin? So we want to send an embed message saying you don't have access to this command, right? So we say else. So this is for any user who is not an administrator. So what we're going to do is pretty much create another embed. So we'll say var, let's just say, I don't know, non-admin message. So create a new Discord embed builder. Discord embed builder. And then we'll say in here, title as, I don't know, access denied, you know, so access denied. And then we'll say description, you need to be an administrator to execute this command. And then we set the color as Discord color red once again. So once again, since our message has been deferred, we can pretty much do the edit response async once again. So what we do under here is say await, and then ctx.edit response async, edit response async, and then create a new webhook builder with the embed as the non-admin message. So You know, like this makes it really simple, honestly. Like like you don't have to create loads of Discord messages and like use the send message async method. Like you can pretty much do it all in one go based on your outcome right here. So let's give this a test. So obviously, don't forget that you have to register your commands in your bot.cs file. So let's go down here and register it. So now we can get rid of our guild ID because this bot is only in one server at the moment. So all we can do is say slash commands config register commands, and we want to register the moderation SL. So moderation SL, like so, and that's all cool. So let's save it, and then let's build it, and then let's give this a test. So let's press start. Okay guys, so as you can see, we have a ban command right here, and as you can see, there's the optional parameter I was talking about. So it has our main user parameter that we have to fill in, and then it has this +1 optional right here. So okay, let's execute this ban command. So I've got my alt account in here. So we're going to test it out by banning that alt account right there. So what we're going to do is say ban, and then we'll ban the alt account. So this one. And then as you can see, even if I press enter, it will still execute. So like let's just provide the reason as well. So we can do reason, and then we'll say test, and then it should work as expected. So we press enter. Okay, there we go. Okay, like so like for some reason like it just seemed like a timing issue there. But as you can see, yeah, like it looks like the like user has been banned, and it said ban user as the username, reason as test. So if we actually check our ban list, then it should come up. There we go. So now we can just unban him from here, and yeah, that's the ban command. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, honestly. Like it's just there's nothing more to it. So like if you actually do provide the reason as null, I can provide like an else if statement saying if the reason is null, then send a different kind of embed message without the reason. So that can work as well. Okay, so we are here on the alt account that we just banned. So if we go to our YouTube channel, then like this account pretty much got banned. So let's see what happens if we try and use it on this account. So this account has no permissions, as you can see, it has no roles. So like just to test if it actually does work, let's execute the ban command on this account, and let's see if it goes to the else statement and it gives us the access denied response. So let's do ban on here. So we'll get our ban command. So this one. Let's just ban Dino, and then we'll say the reason as test. So we press enter, and then yeah, there we go. It gives us the access. It literally goes to the else statement, and it's recognized that this user doesn't have admin permissions. As you can see, it has no roles. So it's just a clean user. There's no permissions on it at the moment, apart from just the basics. So as you can see, those like those parameters that we put in here, like the if statement that we put here works effectively. So that's how we know it works perfectly. So next up, I'm going to show you how to make a kick command. Okay, so next up, let's make a kick command. So let's exit off right here, and then we'll make another slash command. So slash command, and then we'll name this kick, and then in the description we'll say kick a user from the server. So like the kick command is pretty similar to the ban command. Like there's pretty less hassle, honestly. So we'll make the method like usual. So public async task, and then we'll say kick with the interaction context ctx, and then we'll add in the parameters. So like for kick, all you need is the user. Like you don't even need a reason. So let's just provide the user. So all we do is say option here, and then we say the user. So once again, this is the user you want to kick, and then this is going to be a Discord user once again. So like just to clarify, you can't declare this as a Discord member and think that you can get away with it, because once again in the like in the DShot Plus documentation, it specifies that you have to do it as a Discord user and then cast it. Like if you declare it as a Discord member, it's not going to work. So just bear that in mind. So once again, let's defer the message. So like let's get used to it. So like as you saw there, where we deferred the message, it like it sent that message saying the YouTube C# bot is thinking, so it does that message. So let's get the user, right? So we say var member is equal to Discord member, and then the user casted as the Discord member. So once again, we want people with admin permissions to be able to do this once again. So let me do an if statement on top of that. So we do if, once again, the ctx dot member, and then we say permissions has permission, and then we're looking for the admin permission. So there we go. And then in this if statement, we'll copy that over. And then to simply kick a user from the server, it's not kick async. So, you know, like the way they've done it in D# Plus is to do await, and then we say member remove async, like so. So this line pretty much kicks them from the server, or pretty much removes it from the server. So as you can see, you know, like they've named the method as remove async, but like in the description they've said kicks this member from the guild. So remove async is pretty much kicking the user from the server. So that's all cool. We've kicked the user from the server. Now we make the embed to say that the user was kicked. So once again, var will say kick message, and the autocorrect has done it for us. Cool. So in here we will say the title is equal to let's just say the member dot username, and then we'll say got kicked from the server. So it will get the member and the username, and it will probably say this username got kicked from the server, whatever. So we'll say description, and then we'll just add on, I don't know, like who they were kicked by. You know, like this is, you know, like this is completely optional how you want to display this embed. So I'm just going to say this user was kicked by, and then we'll add on the ctx.user. So we'll say ctx.user and then username. Cool. So this just gets the user who called this command, and it will say who it was kicked by. So let's add on the color as well. Discord color red. Cool. And then once again, we don't create a response, we edit our existing response. So we do await ctx and then edit response async, create a webhook builder, and then we add on the embed. So embed, add embed with our kick message. Cool. So like we'll do the else once again. So else, and then we'll pretty much copy over that exact same access denied message. So cool. You need to be an administrator to execute this command. So that should also work. So let's start that up. We'll save it first, start it up, see if it works properly. Okay, cool. So there's our kick command. So let's click on kick, and then let's kick the same alt account from the server. So this one, and let's press enter, and it should pretty much work. There we go. It said it was thinking, and then it got kicked from the server. There we go. It's pretty much all cool. And then pretty much on our alt account, as you can see, we got kicked. So let's get that back once again. So let's join back, and yeah, if we once again, like if we try it on this alt account, it should restrict us from using it. So if we say kick, and then we'll kick Dino once again, so it should give us access. Yeah, there we go. It works very swiftly, very, you know, it's just very efficient. There's no hassle. It all works pretty darn well. So that's the kick command. I'll show you one last example, and that is the timeout command, and that should provide you enough examples to mess with moderation commands. So, you know, like the rest is up to you to research. So how to do stuff like channel locking, or how to do mute commands. So like the rest is all up to you, but I'm providing the fundamentals for you lot. So create another slash command. So slash command, and then we'll name this one timeout. So this will basically, like time out a user. So if you time out a user on Discord, like they won't be able to speak in any channel for a set number of seconds. So if you time them out for 30 seconds, they can't speak for 10 seconds. For 30 seconds, I meant. So yeah, that's the timeout command. So let's just say, I don't know, timeout a user, and then for the timeout, we need two parameters once again. So first of all, we need the user that we're trying to time out, and then we need a time duration, because we want to specify some amount of seconds to how they how long they want to be timed out for. So let's do the user first. So it's gonna be an option Here we'll say user, and then the user you want to timeout. And this, once again, it's going to be a Discord user parameter. So Discord user, and then the user. So, you know, like, notice how I'm using similar naming conventions to make it easier for myself. You know, I'm not making it different for each parameter. So let's add the timeout. So this can be, I guess, a long, because that's the supported you know, int variable, or, you know, like number variables. So I can either do long or double. I'll, you know, like, long is easier, to be honest. So we'll say option, and this will be the time duration. So we'll say duration, and this is basically duration of the timeout. And, you know, like, we'll say in seconds, so that the user knows not to put in like 60 and then have it do it for an hour. So and then, yeah, we say long, and then we'll say duration. We will cast this or convert this to a time span variable later on. So there you go, there's our parameters. That's pretty much cool. So once again, we do await CTX and then defer async. So, you know, like, at this point you should be used to CTX defer async in all your slash commands, rather than creating that new interaction response builder and then doing starting slash commands ... or, you know, doing all that stuff. So if you do CTX defer async, then it makes life easier once again. So you know, like, once again, I have to say as much times as possible so that it goes through your brain. So once again, let's check for admin permissions, because once again, we only want admins to use this command. So if CTX member, and then the permissions has permission, and then we're looking for the admin permission once again. So where's administrator? There we go, cool. And then in this if statement, this is going to be a bit different this time. So what we need to do is convert this long duration parameter into a time span variable, so that we can use it in the method to time out a user. So I'm not sure if it's time span, or maybe it's date time. I think like, I think it wants a date time. So first of all, let's obviously cast the user as a Discord member.user, and let's just see what the timeout method wants before we even do the conversion. So the method to time out a user is to say await, and then we say member timeout async. So let's see what it wants. So it wants a date time offset. Yeah, okay. So yeah, we need to convert our long duration parameter into a date time variable. So let's do that first. So we'll obviously end that. So first of all, let's make a simple time duration variable. So let's say var, and then we'll say time duration. This can be any name you want. And what we're going to do is say date time, and then what we're going to do is get date time now. And what we're going to do is add the duration to this time limit, because like, if you do date time and then you view the methods, then there's no method to convert this into a date time variable. So that's why my method of doing it is to get the current date time and add the duration to it. So, like, the timeout async method wants a time to time out the user until. So you know, like, as you can see here, it says date time offset and then until. So we need to provide a time for this method to time out until this time limit has been reached. So that's why we want to add our duration to this date time.now, so that we can provide a time to stop the timeout at. So hopefully that makes sense. What we want to do is add a time span to it. So time span, and then we say from seconds, and then the duration. So we're going to do it in seconds because that's the lowest possible interval. So you know, like, it's much more easier to go from seconds into minutes, and then from minutes into hours. So it makes more sense to do that. So this variable should contain the time to time out the user too. So if we say 5 seconds here, it will get the current time, add 5 seconds to it, and it will provide that time. So say for example, right now it is 8:21, as you can see here. So if we like, if we say 60 seconds, then it's going to add 60 seconds to the current time, and it will say 2022. So it will time out the user until 8:22. So that's how it works. So we'll provide our time duration in here. So that's how it knows when to stop timing out the user. That's the whole point. So once that's done, we can once again provide our embed message. So var timeout message equals a new Discord embed builder, and then in the title we'll say I don't know, this current user has been timed out. So we'll say the user, no, not the user, the member, because we casted it. So member.username has been timeout, or something along those lines. And then the description is saying how long this timeout lasts for. So we'll say duration, colon, and then we'll add our time duration to it. So once again, this is a date time variable. So we need to convert this into a time span variable to show how many seconds there are. So what we do here is say time span, and then we say from seconds, and then we say the duration. So because this is for the timer async method, so we're just trying to get the seconds as to how long the user has been timed out for. So we just do the same thing we did right here. So that's all done, and then since it's a time span variable, we have to do toString to display it as a string. So that should all be cool. And then the color can be Discord color red once again. So after we've done all of that, we await, and then ctx, and then we edit the response, new Discord webhook builder, add the embed, timeout message, and then we're done. And then once again, else, and that's done. That's how you make a timeout command. So let's once again test that out. So save it, start it up. All right, so here's our timeout command that we got here. So let's time out the alt account once again. So Felito Blue, and let's time him out for 20 seconds. So that gives me enough time to actually look here as well for the timeout. So let's press enter and let's see what happens. So there we go, 20 seconds timeout, and as you can see, it works. Look, I've been timed out for 20 seconds and it's counting down. So we know that works. So that's pretty cool. It displays the time correctly, and it knows that we have to time out for 20 seconds. So that's how we know that the date time variable is working. So we're pretty much adding our duration to the current date, and that's how it knows when to stop the timeout. Like 20-second timeout, it works really well. And then once this is over, we'll test out the command from here. So as you can see, it pretty much locks ourselves in all the channels. So it doesn't, it pretty much prevents us from typing anywhere. So it works pretty well. So let's test it out here. So we'll do timeout, and then we'll time out myself. So let's try and do that, and then we'll do it for 20 seconds. And then as you can see, access denied. You need to be an administrator to execute this command. So cool, man, it works. Yeah, that's like some pretty basic federation commands that you can get started with. Like pretty much ban, kick, and timeout are the ones that are commonly used. Like you can do mute as well. So like muting a user, that's pretty much the same as the timeout command if you think about it. Muting, like you can do mute if you want, if you just want to permanently mute someone, and then do unmute to obviously like unmute them. So that's pretty much up to you lot to try and figure out how to do those, but hopefully that sort of introduces you into how to do federation commands, like banning a user, kicking a user, and pretty much doing all that stuff. So hopefully that adds some more functionality to your bot, because I'm sure you lot are trying to look for ways to ban users in your own bot, maybe like a utility style bot, stuff like that. So hopefully that teaches you how to do it within C#. Once again, if you have any questions, then obviously ask me in the Discord or leave a comment in the at the bottom of this video. Once again, all this code will be on the GitHub repo in the description. So if you want to have a look at it for yourself, then obviously click the link in the description to view all the code that I've done here. So once again, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you lot in the next one. Peace out.